Hi, my name is Monica Miller. I am the Women's Ministry Director here at the church at Carter's Orchard in Dover, Ohio. This church began in 2009, meeting at a local YMCA and later moved to a leased facility. About 6 or 7 years ago, we began looking at available property and buildings to move our church to a permanent home. At that time, we were introduced to Ron Wanger, president of Weaver Commercial Contractor. Ron helped us determine what property and buildings would be a wise investment before starting any design. This was so valuable to us in finding the right place to worship and call home for decades and decades to come. One of the challenges that we had to overcome in our process was that we weren't moving out of a building that we owned. And so we were actually having to build the capital needed to buy these 5 acres and then renovate 22,000 square feet of warehouse space. The team at Weaver Commercial Contractor basically took our hand and did all of the planning for that. Their assistance in that whole process made it very easy for us to start. When we first acquired this building, it was a filthy and stinky warehouse used for manufacturing and storing diesel trucking equipment. It was very hard to imagine that the space could be transformed into something so beautiful for our church. But everyone that we interacted with at WCC had complete confidence in their ability to transform this space. They had a vision of how to do it. They had the know-how, and then their confidence transferred to us and made it easy for us to trust them with this project. Before we moved to our new facility, we were running multiple services. Our lack of parking prohibited growth. We didn't have office space for our staff or enough room for our children's ministry. And really, we were just limited as a church and what we could do. It was clear that we were growing and needed a new space to accommodate what the Lord was doing with our group. WCC walked us through the entire process, finding the right building, initiating the purchase, going through the renovation process, and then moving us into a building ready for ministry. And now we have amazing children's areas. We have a large multi-use lobby where we have different functions happening, and a beautiful auditorium that's just ready for growth and ready to take us into the next season. One of the things that we really appreciated about WCC was Steve Yoder, our project manager. He was incredibly invested in our project from the beginning to the end. We actually had a unique experience of being in our completed offices while the warehouse renovation was going on, and so we actually interacted with Steve daily. This was likely an unusual and at times challenging part of the project for Steve, but he was kind and very patient with all of our questions. He held bi-weekly meetings to go over the bigger picture and make choices and design changes and the minor adjustments we were going through. We could not have asked for a smoother process in a multi-million-dollar project than we experienced with WCC, particularly Steve, with whom we basically partnered the whole time. And so that relational experience was one of the things that we loved and appreciated about working with Weaver Commercial Contractor. Another thing that we highly value about WCC is their attention to detail and their follow-through and their quality craftsmanship. Weaver Commercial Contractor was truly the lead in the design aspect of this building, and so their expertise in working with churches and designing churches was so valuable to us because they've done so many church builds. They know all about the regulations, the specifications, all of those things that we don't know. They're just so well equipped to guide us into making those decisions for designing our space to work really well for our church. And also designing a space that can grow with us, that can be utilized by children, adults, small groups, and large groups. So they were the guide leading us toward making some really important design decisions. Building a church facility is not just a building project. Your church facility needs to serve you as you do the ministry to spread the gospel and share the good news of Jesus Christ. And it is a true blessing and a pleasure to partner with a construction company that shares those faith values and understands why it is so important to build a facility that serves you well as you serve the Lord in your community. And partnering with Weaver Commercial Contractor was a blessing and a pleasure because they share those values and they're a company you can trust. for their honesty, their integrity, and their desire to do ministry in the world as well. I feel completely confident and comfortable telling you that you will be pleased with your experience with Weaver Commercial Contractor.